Now let me see if I can we got another caller real quick. Caller, please state your name and your purpose of calling.
My name is Trevor Archer, and I'm calling about the disparity we got between the councilman and the mayor, and going back and forth and not moving the city forward.
Okay.
I mean, at this point, without the two of them together, how are we going to move the city forward and fix the problems that we have as to the parks and the other problems that we got in the city that haven't been fixed in a while? And then we got the councilman with a contract suing the city. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense at this point. How are we going to move forward with this here? Then we got accusations that the councilman has been, doing work for the city on a Fed contract to fix the emergency building and was not paying, the federal wages that's supposed to be paid. Now, whether that's true or not, that's the understanding that we have, and it has to be, looked at, approved. But my point is that we need to move forward. We can't keep going attacking everybody in this and trying to get the city to move forward.
Absolutely, and we were good about to get into that, but I'm going to let him. I want him to answer this question.
Let him answer that.
I want to answer. I'm
going to answer that for you, Mr. Archer. Is that your name, Archer?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Okay. I'm going to take it back to the very beginning so everybody can understand this. I built that EOC Center back in 2014. I finished back in 2014 in September of August of 2014. That was the last bill submitted. Okay. The city ran out of money and they could not afford to pay me. And I held off from suing the city because we spoke. We all sat down because I thought it was I thought it was a bad idea to sue the city. And this is before I even thought about becoming a councilman at all. So now, when this particular project happened, Councilman at the time, Thomas, was on the council. He voted for this project. He voted for those payments. He voted for all of these things. It was never a problem. Okay. Now let's fast forward. We go through. The mayor has it's documented, well documented by the mayor, the former mayors, well documented by all of the other people, signed off by the Homeland Security. They walked through, said it was a great job, and let me ask you this. With a lot of people, let me just say this, with a lot of people saying that it was unfinished and all of this stuff, do you think Homeland Security would have came and reimbursed the city for the $1 million if it wasn't done? So the city got the $1 million back because it was a drawdown. And there's another $500,000 sitting there that was supposed to complete the phase.
Explain what a drawdown is.
A drawdown is the city.
I know what a drawdown is. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, maybe for all the other.
But maybe the listeners don't.
The listeners don't.
Maybe the listeners don't know what the drawdown is.
A drawdown is this. You every time we finish a certain point, we put in a bill for it, and the city pays for it out the city's pocket. Once the city finished paying for everything, then the state comes in, takes a look at it to make sure that everything's correct, and then they give them back the money. It's a reimbursement system, but you have to put out the money. And just like I would have to put out the money first, and then get the money back from the city, which I've done. I would put out all the money, then I'll build a city. I'll put it out again, then I'll build a city. I put out the money and I build a city, and the city doesn't have the money. So instead of going through the fight with them and suing them, we all sat down, and this has been worked on with the many of the people from the last administration and this administration, all the way down to the building commissioner who was fired for signing off on the paperwork for this. Okay, so let's fast forward this whole thing. Everything is so wonderful, beautiful. We're waiting for it. The former mayor and the comptroller and everybody put everything together. They put it into this year's budget for me to get paid. Okay, so I didn't have to sue the city. Now, here comes the trick. All right. Richard Thomas, our mayor today, asked me to pass and push the council to get his agenda done and take $700,000 out of the contingency fund. I denied it. I told him I will not do that. And he did approach me, and he did say, if I want my money, I need to be on his agenda. And I told him, I said, this is my money. It's not negotiable. It's not going to be something that you could hold over me to get what you want against the people that we all disagree with, your plans. So that is what led me to sue the city, because I had to go through that process. I have already put in a notice of claim in 2015, June of 2015, and I just was holding off on suing the city because the city already sat down with me and we negotiated. So I said, we'll wait 6, 7, 8 months to get paid for it. But he thinks that this is a chip, and this chip is going to come back to haunt him in the future. I'll just leave it at that.
All right. I appreciate you explaining that and going forward. But in you communicating me, you said on August 14th you finished the building. Did you finish the building on August 14th? Yes or no?
August 28th, 2014. I've even documented, if you go back and look at the city council records, back when I won the primary, I went in and I put it on the record. And I said the city owes me X amount of dollars for the work that has been done. They have not paid me. And before I take office come January 1st, I would like to settle all bills and all issues with the city. I also came back in November and I said the same thing. I put it out there and well documented. Many people know this. Councilman Thomas commented on that. He said, this is why he's running for mayor, because André Wallace deserves his money and the city should not have to go through these things. And he had a whole big speech about it. So what happened is what you should all be thinking about.
I just want to say, there's an article that ran November 5th, 2015, and I think this was News 12, yeah. And they talk about the project. They talk about you being owed over $150,000 and winning your seat for city council. Mark Warren, who he's been fired too, right?
Yes,
Mark Warren, the city building commissioner, says the city had cash flow problems and the cost overruns for the project. He said Wallace and the other contractors should be paid in next year's budget. This was November 5th, 2015.
Can you paste that on today's show on People Before Politics?
Brenda already did it. That's how I'm reading it.
Good. So,
but the article is called that the Senate remains unfinished, because it says on the other side, it says the city officials say they don't know when the Senate will be completed. In addition to the $1 million they received from the federal government, they say they need another $500,000 to complete the project.
Correct. That that $500,000 is there already. They need to start that process. But this whole thing with this, what's going on, is stopping the second process of the fire department and the city being able to get the computers, the smart boards, the rest of the stuff, because everything I did as a contractor, is done. The second phase is supposed to come in and finish that.
Pardon me, I'm sorry, and I do appreciate you sharing. I want you to know that. You had stated August 28, 14, you finished the building. You did not finish the building on August 28, 14. And let me just, I'm trying to get clear that you didn't finish at that point. At that point, you didn't finish, you stopped because you ran out of money, or the city ran out of money. Is that correct?
That is correct, but we've already finished. We've already finished. The only thing that needs to be done in that thing is Otis Elevator is to come and turn on the elevator and finish that. But they refuse to come because they have not got their pay. So, that's the elevator company.
So we didn't finish in August 28, 14. You stopped in August 2014, 28 on the 2014 because the city ran out of money. The building wasn't finished at that point, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and then the city went and got more money in 2015, but was unable to give you the money because it needed the money to go somewhere else?
Yeah, 2016. 2016.
Okay,
the amount of work, let me explain something to you. The amount of what needs to happen, hold on, what needs to happen with what's incomplete that was left with the elevator and all is going to take about 2 days. They need to do the inspection, which is by the city, and they need to turn on the elevator and do those minor things. All the elevator's in. They're just not going to do the inspection and not going to do the other things until they get paid, which should be right,
Okay.
So is the work that you, if the project, I hear what you're saying and I hear what the caller's saying. So the caller's saying the building was not complete, which is actually probably true because certain things weren't done. But what you were contracted to do, is that complete?
Yeah, what I'm contracted to do was done.
So
Everything that's
so they can't, so to hold you against other things. So the things that are not being
Yeah.
done, are they not under what you were supposed to do, or whatever's left to be done?
What's left to be done, like I said, is now let me put it in another scenario, right? If you was a mechanic and you did all the work on somebody's car, and the only thing that's left to do is to put a steering wheel on so this guy can drive the car, and he owes you all this money, would you put that steering wheel on? No, you would
Actually, no. I would hold on to that steering wheel until I got my money.
until he came with the money. And that's the scenario with the elevator and certain things.
But you're not control. But you're not control.
They'll click the switch.
But you're not control. You're not control of the elevator part and all that.
No,
Well,
Otis.
yeah, the
Otis
elevator guy's got to be paid from him. He's the contractor.
right, but Otis.
Okay, he's the contractor. I'm sorry, the host there. The host, he's the contractor. He's responsible for the job, regardless of the elevator. I'm not trying to make him wrong or right, but the point is, if he's the contractor and whatever sub there is, he's responsible for the sub, regardless, because he has to get paid in order to pay the sub. It's my understanding.
Exactly.
Absolutely. But let me
All right,
ask
so
you: if
can
you was in my position, would you finish putting in more money?
No, I understand. I
Okay.
understand your point. I just wanted to get clear on where we're at. What's the accusation of you hiring people and not paying them the federal wages under this contract?
Well, I can't.
That seems to be an issue that's out here, and that they're stating that you're wavering on bringing that proof to the table on the actual wages and the actual compensations that were paid to the people who worked for you, via work directly for you via a subcontractor.
Well, I can't go into full details with that because it's in court right now with what they're saying. But I'll tell you this much. Okay, there has not been one person that complained or anything else about not being paid full prevailing wage. Okay, this is an attempt by them to try to dirty my name, to make themselves try to cover up what really happened. And that's going to come out also. And you're going to see that as well as this court case is processed.
Yeah,
You know, and you'll see, because let me explain one thing to you. You know, most of these people that work on that job, Otis Elevator, all these people, these are union people. Trust me, the union is not going to allow you not to pay them the prevailing wage.
All right, so you won't comment, and we'll find out what that is in the future. Last but least, how in the world is it? What is it going to take to move forward and get out of the Thomas Wallace situation and the council and the mayor to move the city forward? Because it's not about, and this is no pun intended, it's not about the individual, it's about the city. What is it going to take to move the city forward? And rectify the stuff we're doing, because all we're doing is making litigation and allegations while we're standing still. Well, and me and everybody else in the city, I'm paying taxes like, man, listen, come on. I got people that can't even stay in their house because they're paying taxes.
I pay a lot of taxes in this in the city as well. But let me just say this: the council works very hard to push the agenda of the city forward constantly. So we talk all the time, and we do everything we possibly can to move this city forward. But you have to remember this: the council's jobs is the checks and balance. Okay, it's the mayor's job to give us what his proposal. He had a state of the city. He's supposed to, with all these wonderful things he's going to do. We have not gotten one thing come across our desk yet. He has to put in, it's the mayor's vision. The mayor is supposed to be the person who creates the vision, who sets how the city's going to go and function. And we're there to just say, Mayor, you can do this, you can't do that. This is against the law, that's against the law. You can't do it this way, that way, blah, blah, blah. And make sure the checks and balance is correct to protect the citizens and the taxpayers. We have not gotten anything, that came across to us yet besides my brother's keeper. That was the only thing that was asked to do. But there's been no proposals.
It's my understanding that the mayor had some. I've seen some of the proposals that he's had out there.
Like what? Name one.
That he's projected. Okay, that he's projected. But is there a issue with the communication or the relationship between the council and the mayor to move the city forward? That's the point I want to make.
Name one.
Can I say one thing? As and this is from a writer, journalist point of view, and I've been covering this quite a few times. A lot of things that I have witnessed and I have seen from firsthand, the mayor has made a lot of nice things in the press. Like he wanted to, in the beginning, he wanted to have a deputy mayor who was going to be over fire and police. And the deputy mayor position, one, didn't exist. And two, you can't consolidate commissioners without going through the council. Now, a former councilman should understand how the relationship works. So I then did my due diligence and called the council president and said, well, what do you think about this new appointment of the mayor? The council president, as well as the council, had no idea what I was talking about, and I had to send them the YouTube clip of the video of the event he had so that they could see what it was. And the council president, Marcus Griffin, said in this one instance, the actual consolidation of commissioners is actually a brilliant idea that more people should have thought about, and it would save the city money. But because it's not in the charter, it's still something you have to bring to the council so they can vote on. So from what I've seen and from being in the meetings, the work session meetings with the council and the mayor, and I've been pretty quiet about a lot of it, but the mayor is telling the public what he wants to do, but he's not taking the steps to go through the council and put the paperwork in or put the whatever he needs to put in so that the council can even vote on it, and then goes back to the public and said, like there was another work session meeting that the mayor asked for X amount of dollars to be moved from a contingency fund so it can go to pay for additional firefighters. This was on a Tuesday. The controller explained the contingency fund was for emergencies, for the negotiation of union and the fire and police union salaries, contracts, and they could not take that money from there. That was Tuesday. On Friday, the mayor had a press conference in front of the firehouse on 3rd Street saying the city council and the controller are playing politics with your safety and have money but don't want to pay for additional firefighters. Now, as a journalist and as a Mount Vernon resident and as a taxpayer, I sat in the meeting. We're allowed to sit there. We just can't say nothing. And that's not what happened. And that's very irresponsible because it brings about some of the questions that you're asking because this is what you're hearing, but that's not what's going on.
Well, the point I'm making is that there's nothing going on because there's a breakdown between the councilman and the mayor. And as I just asked Wallace, is that what is it going to take to move forward? What is it going to take to move the city forward with Mayor Thomas? There's a breakdown somewhere based evidence on what you're saying right now. What you're saying is that the mayor's making accusations and going out and making proposals and not communicating with the council. That could be to a certain degree or not, but the point is the council, he can't do anything without the council, so why would he go out and try to do something and not have the council?
That's a very good question.
And that's what we are. Look,
wait.
No.
Richard Thomas is listening.
No, wait a minute. Wait.
And that's my point.
And that's what we have been saying since January 1st. How do you go out and say you're going to hire 12 or 13 firemen, and the council say we only got money for 7, and then go out and have a press conference and announce, and then try to announce them? That's what everybody is saying, brother.
My point is that and I appreciate you allowing me to speak on this. I don't want to get into I want to get
but see, but that is
the relationship between the councilman and the mayor. You can't tell me that he didn't come and try to at least knowing he's mayor, knowing how politics work, which I'm not really into politics, but he'd have to use the councilman to go forward. So you can't tell me that he didn't sit down and present something to the councilman.
You know what wait a minute. You know what I want you to do?
I'm telling you.
You know what I want you to do? Do you know what I want you to do, brother? Get the city council sessions where Richard Thomas was in there and listen to those sessions and then listen what he says on News 12. Don't take my word for it. Don't take Councilman Wallace's word for it. Don't take this show. You listen to those sessions yourself.
Foil it. It's free.
You foil it. You have a right to. You have a right to get it on CD and listen to those sessions, and then pull up everything that he has said, and then call us back. Then call us back and let's talk about it. See, you don't have to take my word for it. Listen to the mayor's word himself in the sessions behind closed doors.
My question that I've asked 3 times Wallace, what is it? What do you think it takes to move this city forward and come out of this disparity that we're in, with lawsuits going back and forth and everything here? How do we move the city forward?
Easy, okay? The mayor needs to live up to what he ran on, which is transparency. And the mayor needs to work and present things to the council. You can. I said it clear before. I said it clear before.
So you're saying all of this issue is the mayor. The council has nothing to do with this. Is that what you're stating?
Well, no, we don't. We don't. We are only reacting off of the things that he's done. That's it. We're trying to address the things that he has done. If he sets something up that is not proper, I am the check and balance along with the other 4 councilmen that is supposed to protect your rights and the people's rights. That's what we took an oath for. And if the mayor is doing something that is outside of the charter, that is not correct, we have to correct that and say, no, mayor, you can't do that. But instead of saying, let's sit down and see how we can do this together, the mayor is saying, you know what? I don't care what you guys say. The 5 of you, it doesn't matter. I'm going to do it anyway. That's the problem.
I heard what you're saying, and that's the point that I'm making, is that right now we're talking and you're stating that the issue is the mayor is running autonomy and that the council is 100% right and you don't have anything to do with it. It takes 2 to get this on. So you have to take some kind of share in what's going on. The mayor's trying to run the city.
Unfortunately, sir, I can't. What you need to do is come to a city council meeting or come to the city council work sessions, and you would see what's going on. It's up to you to do the research.
And this is,
I can't tell
and this
you.
Is what, and this is what I want to ask. And this is what I want to ask, sir. Have you been to any of the work sessions?
No, I haven't.
Have you been to any of the city council meetings?
No.
Then all right, okay.
Where are you getting your information from? Is the question.
And this is why people, instead of watching News 12, instead of even listening to our show, need to attend these meetings. So you could hear for yourself, or you have an opportunity to foil these meetings and listen. So because what I'm seeing here, because I attend the meetings and I hear what's going on and I foil the stuff and I listen. And we
videotape most of it.
And we try to videotape as much as we can.
Share it with the public.
To share it with the public. So what I'm saying to you is you need to do your due diligence and get the tape or come to the meetings, because I am tired. I am tired of Facebook. I am tired of everybody walking around having their opinions, but they don't show up to the meetings themselves. Come to the meetings. Come to the city council meetings. Come to the work sections. Listen for yourself. And you ain't got to take nobody else's word for it. You ain't got to take no more hearsay, because this is getting out of hand. Because it's complete confusion.
It is.
And you know what? It's manufactured confusion.
And that's purposely
done.
That's what I was trying to explain to you from a media perspective, and I've been sitting back watching a lot of it, and I've addressed and to be real up front, I still do have a somewhat of a relationship with the mayor. So I had these conversations with the mayor. I've had these conversations with the councilman. I've had these conversations with the council president. Because the bottom line is that one point that you do make is the city really doesn't care. The city just wants to see something done. And until the city sees something done, the back and forth, it doesn't make a difference because it makes both sides look bad. That point we have been making as well. But the point is there's a lot of misinformation being given out. And the fact is that very few people do their own homework to look at the information, because I have presented editorials in Black Westchester where I have stated the facts, and I've had 20 people from Facebook shout and scream about what I was saying, that wasn't being fair and this, that, and the other, but none of these people are active in anything and know what's going on and don't show up. And when I'll play the audio, I'll share the audio, I'll share the documents, and it won't make a difference. And so people, and this is my pet peeve with black people is period, but the city of Mount Vernon in particular, We are a very misinformed and uninformed society that go by what they hear and don't look at things for themselves. And before I really got involved in the last few years, that included me. You understand what I'm saying? That's why I got involved, to find out what was going on.
Hey, listen, brother, I thank you. I thank you for your call. I thank you for your exchange and conversation. And I thank you for your questions. But I also want you, as if you live in Mount Vernon, and you care about your city, come to the city council meetings, come to the work sessions. You are part of the public. Stop listening to what people are saying. Stop listening. I mean, we all have an opinion, but play part of it, because if you start coming, you'll start seeing that a lot of this shit that's put out here is really bullshit. It's straight up bullshit, and I can't put it in any less matter of form but bullshit. And the only thing it's doing is dividing the city, is making us look bad as the city of Mount Vernon, is making us look bad as black people in general, that we can't even manage a 4x4 square mile of a city without all type of nonsense. So I advise everybody, start showing up. Start showing up.
Mr. Archer, we do have other calls, and but we thank you for calling and welcome you to call back anytime and continue to listen and follow us on blackwestchester.com.
And I love to see him at a council meeting.
And we invite you to the next council meeting, which, for the record, is
May 11th. It's the 11th.
Not this Wednesday. Next Wednesday.
That's I believe that's May 11th at 7 p.m. And you could call the city clerk's office before 1 p.m. on that day of the meeting and sign up to speak to the city council.